when Kyogo Furiashi scores his 50th goal this weekend for Celtic, in Celtic colours, it'll be laced with extra significance that goes all the way back to 1994. For those of us that are old enough to remember 1994, there was the time where John Collins played for Celtic. Yep, John Collins, who was assistant manager at one time also. And John Collins was the last person to score 4 goals in consecutive Celtic Rangers games. So if Kyogo does that, if he scores his next goal against Rangers this weekend, he will break a record going back to 1994. Ange Postecoglou says he doesn't care about what a Rangers coach said. Stick around to the end of the video and I will tell you exactly what a Rangers coach said. Callum McGregor talks about the game. He says when you look at the disappointments in football, he says you can only take the positives and look at the positives. Ange Postecoglou will not fall into the trap of believing that a 5-match unbeaten run against the Rangers will have any advantage in tomorrow's game. The Celtic manager went on to say, he says the fact that they can go and win this game, if they win this game tomorrow, it takes them one step closer to obviously getting the treble. He says he just treats games as separate entities. When you look at the last 5 games, he says if you fall into the trap and you think you have some sort of advantage because you have the previous results, he says that's where you lose clarity around what's important. And what's important for them and the players is obviously win this weekend. And what has happened in the past has happened in the past. You can't take that into the game. He says it's very different, in particular when you're talking about cup games and semi-finals. He says you know what's at stake on the day. A spot in the final is the reward for the winner this weekend. I don't think previous form and what happened the other week really comes into it. The Celtic manager went on to say you don't want to be going into these games having not won for a while either. He says that's something that you don't really want to be doing. He says we've been on a good run of form, the performances have been consistent and we just want to continue that. We expect them to be strong, however we go into every game expecting every opposition to be strong and to be playing at their best, says the Celtic manager. Callum McGregor talking about the game, was talking about the game last season, and he feels that they're the fans this year. He says we've had a great 12 months since then. The progression is what we want to get into, and we want to get into this big game. We have to do everything we can. We have to make it a positive experience as well. We have focused and discussed it because it probably won't hurt some of the players. You know, it will still hurt some of the players from last season, so we want to put that right this season. As a group, we try to stay positive. We've been really positive over the last 12 months. The big task for us, says Callum McGregor, is to try and turn up, play football, and hopefully progress to the final. And I take note from the McGregor interview also, there wasn't a lot said about them. 1994 was the last time that a Celtic player scored 4 goals in successive Celtic Rangers game. Kyogo Furiashi has the task to do that this weekend, and I think he's going to do it. I think Kyogo is going to break all sorts of records at Celtic. He is in here for the long run. Lots of people trying to say that he's leaving and everything, and that Ange is leaving. They won't be leaving. You're going to get Kyogo and Ange here for a good few seasons. The fact that he can score his 50th goal against them will just be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be a fantastic Glasgow derby. There's 50-50 fans. You'll get your usual nonsense sung by them. We've been talking about them. Ange Postecoglou has shrugged off comments made by the Rangers coach Neil Banfield. He says he doesn't. Ange Postecoglou says he doesn't care what he says. And what did he say? He said, "The Rangers are coming." Haven't we heard this before? Haven't they said this before, that they were coming? And then they got one lucky season when there was no fans and things like that. Anyway, I don't believe that he actually said it. Another Celtic FC news this morning, there's not a lot going around it. It's all about tomorrow. Obviously, when you look at the media back home, they're getting out all the dinosaurs for theirs half. Kevin Thompson's out making words again. They just roll them out, don't they? He's talking about rough up Celtic. You know the type of game that they're going to play tomorrow. They're going to go in hard early. I think if we score an early goal against them like we have done previously, we'll win the game. If we play our own game, they're going to go in with heavy tackles. You're going to see them trying to stop Kyogo. You're going to see them trying to hit Kyogo off the ball like they regularly do. I think our winners, I think Ange Postecoglou is going to start with Jota and Hatate. You heard him say in his interview, he says that he's going to put out the team that he thinks, the strongest team that he thinks can win the game tomorrow. So for me, that's Hatate starting, and that's Kyogo starting, that's Jota starting. Would Moyes start? There's a big question for that tomorrow, but I think he will put out the strongest team. He has said he's going to put out the strongest team, so you can guarantee that those players will play. They have trained all week. Will Abada start? There's an interesting one. Abada's been out for a while. He has trained for the last week. I think you might actually see Abada start the game. Abada does like to terrorise them a bit, and with his pace down that side, you'll know that he can get out there, and it'll be a bit like when the players that left at Christmas got us to the final, and they knew that they weren't going to be playing in the final, but they made sure that they did everything possible to get us to the final. So it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. Tell me what you think the score will be, and if you fancy a right good old laugh after the game tomorrow, make sure you tune in, because I'll probably do a video for Paddy's Point here in Lasagna, Spain. So on that note, have a great Saturday, chill out, don't get a hangover for tomorrow, make sure you're nice and fresh, because there's a hun scalping coming.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to